Good morning, my friends. Okay, since I only went through one chapter, I feel like I want to go through another chapter today. Yeah, and maybe another chapter later on today. Yeah. Today I'm gonna read out of the this Bible. Let's get to it. It's my this one right there. So these are the only two I'm gonna use. Uh, I have obviously other Bibles and stuff. Or do I? Nah, they're just. Well, I have. My wife has an ESV Bible. Yeah, there's the only two I have. I had a big one. I don't know what happened to it though. A big King James, a bigger. Anyway, all right. So this is we're on chapter 13. It has how many verses? Actually, so this one only has 22, 22 verses. All right, cool. We can get this done. All right. So the firstborn consecrated, chapter 13. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, consecrate me all the firstborn, whatever opens the womb, among the children of Israel, both man and beast. It is mine. And Moses said to the people, remember this day in which you went out of Egypt. Out. Hold on. Something's happening here. Alright. Remember this day in which you went out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, for by strength of the hand of the Lord brought you out of this place. No leavened bread shall be eaten on this day. You are going out in the month of Abib. The month of Abib is kind of important, yeah? And it shall be um, when the Lord brings you into the land of Canaan, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, which he swore to your fathers to give you a land flowing with milk and honey, that you shall keep this service in this month. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day there shall be a feast to the Lord. How you doing, Madison? Uh, I hope that you're doing very good. God bless you, and God bless everybody who's checking out the channel. Okay, so 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread, and on the seventh day there shall be a feast to the Lord. Unleavened bread shall be eaten 7 days, and no unleavened bread shall be seen among you, nor shall leaven be among you in your quarters. Verse 8. And you shall tell your son in that day, saying, this is done because of what the Lord did for me when I came up out of Egypt. It shall be a sign to you on your hand, and um, and as a memorial between your eyes, that the Lord's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand the Lord has brought you out of Egypt. You shall therefore keep this ordinance in its season, from year to year. And it shall be when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, as he swore to you, your fathers, and gives it to you, that you shall set apart to the Lord all that opens the womb, that is every firstborn that comes from an animal which you have. The males shall have, or shall be the Lord's, but every firstborn of the donkey you shall redeem with a lamb. And if you shall not redeem it, you will not redeem it, then you will break its neck. And all the firstborn of man among your sons you shall redeem. So it shall be when your son asks you in time to come, saying, What is uh what is this? That you shall say to him, By the strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And it came to pass, when Pharaoh was stubborn about letting us go, that the Lord killed all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn and the firstborn of beasts. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all males that open the womb, but the firstborn of my sons I redeem. It shall be a sign on your head, as and as a frontlets between your eyes, for by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Dude, this is interesting because I think it has like revelation type of things. For example, remember he says that it has to do with your hand. He mentioned your hand. Your where did I read that? Anyway, and also on your head and in your eyes, where the symbol of the 666, the symbol of Antichrist, will be on your forehead or your hand. So, what symbol do you want? God's symbol, God's right symbol of redemption, or do you want the other one? Basically, yeah. All right. Well, let's continue. Uh, let's see if we can find the other verse here. It shall be as a sign on your hand and as frontlets between your eyes, for by strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt. Then it came to pass, when Pharaoh had let the people go, that God did not lead them by way of the land of the Philistines, although that was near. For God said, Lest perhaps the people change their minds when they see war, and return to Egypt. So God led them, led the people around the way of the wilderness. Probably. Hold on, I'll check it. Let's turn the page. All right. Oh, I was right. The wilderness of the Red Sea, and the children of Israel went up in orderly ranks out of the land of Egypt, and Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for placed uh, the children of Israel, he had placed the children of Israel under solemn oath, saying, God will surely visit uh, you and shall carry up my bones from from here with you. So they took their journey from Succoth and camped in uh, Etham at the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to lead the way, by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so as to go by day and night. He did not take away the pillar of cloud by day or the pillar of fire by night from before the people. He kept it there as a symbol, right, of like his faithfulness. Awesome. Okay. Uh, let's see. The next chapter is like 31 verses. So maybe let's read the next chapter too, and we'll be done. So now the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, "Speak to the children of Israel that they may turn and camp before Pahiroth, between Migdol and the sea, opposite Baal Zephron. You shall camp before it by the sea. For Pharaoh will say to the children of Israel, they are bewildered by the land. The wilderness has closed them in. Then I will harden Pharaoh's heart so that he will pursue them, and I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over his army, that the Egyptians may know that I am the Lord. And they did so. Now it was told the king of Egypt that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants was turned against the people, and they said, why have we done this, that we have let Israel go from serving us? So he made ready his chariot and took his people with him. Also he took 600 choice chariots and all the chariots of Egypt, with captains over every one of them. And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh's, king of Egypt, and pursued the children of Israel. And the children of Israel went out with boldness. So the Egyptians with pursued them all the horses and chariots, and the Pharaoh, his horsemen and his army overtook them, camping by the sea besides Pihirot, um, before Baal Zephron. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them. So they were very afraid, and the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. Then they said to Moses, Because there were no graves in Egypt, you have taken us away to die in the wilderness. Why have you so dealt with us? To bring us out of Egypt. This is not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians. Okay, so it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. They're just looking at the present circumstances. God will rescue them. And Moses said to the people, do not be afraid, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will accomplish for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall see again no more forever. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. And the Lord said to Moses, why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel. Tell the children of Israel, but up and lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it. And the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea. And I indeed will hearken. I will harden the heart of the Egyptians, and they shall follow them. So I will gain honor over Pharaoh and over his army, his chariots, and his horsemen. And by the way, there's proof of this. Yeah, there's actual proof that this event actually did take place. Then the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord, when I have gained honor for myself over Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen, and his angel of God, who went before the camp of David, or the camp of Israel, sorry, moved and went behind them. The pillar of cloud went from before them and stood behind them. So it came between the camp of the Egyptians and the camp of Israel. Thus it was a cloud and darkness to the one, and it gave light by night to the other, so that the one did not come near the other all that night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night. So the Lord protected uh, the people, the Israelite people, with the pillar of fire and the cloud, right? Uh, and then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea into dry land. So it wasn't like an instantaneous thing. It took it took a while. So, and it made the sea into dry land, and the waters were divided. So the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground. and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. And the Egyptians pursued and went after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen. Okay, hold on. Now it came to pass in the morning watch that the Lord looked down upon the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and cloud. He troubled the army of the Egyptians. He he took off their chariots so that they drove them with difficulty, and the Egyptians said, "Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fights for them against the Egyptians." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come down or come back upon the Egyptians on their chariots and on their horsemen." And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and when the morning appeared, the sea returned to its full depth, while the Egyptians were uh, were fleeing into it. So the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Then the waters returned and covered the chariots, the horsemen, and all the army of Pharaoh that came into the sea after them. Not so much as one of them remained. But the children of Israel had walked on dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. So the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead on the seashore. Thus Israel saw a great work which the Lord had done in Egypt. So the people feared the Lord and believed uh, the Lord and his servant Moses. Wow. Okay, chapter 15 next time. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in and watching this. God bless you. Okay. Uh, See you later on. Thank you for listening.